Hi, and welcome to a Papetti Math YouTube video tutorial where I'm going to be teaching you, yes, you, Algebra 1. And in this lesson, we are going to continue on to exercise number 3 in lesson 1 of chapter 12 that deals with statistics. So we left off by finding our mean, median, and standard deviation in the last problem. Now, before we go on to exercise number 3, I do want to talk about what's similar and different about these two data sets. So if you didn't watch the exercise 2 video, I suggest going back to watch that right now. Otherwise, take a look at this. We have two data sets here, all of these numbers and these. They both have the same mean. Their median is very close. One is 7.5 because it has an even number of data points. And this one has a median of 8. But over here, our standard deviation is 2.45, and this one is just 0.90. So again, if we look back at our definition of standard deviation, it tells us how spread out the data are. The lower the standard deviation, the closer the data values are to the mean. So this one is definitely the lower standard deviation, and that just means that the data values are closer together. And if you look at the numbers, you could see that just by looking at it. Here's your mean of 8. And all of these numbers are right around 8. They're decimals. They're very close to 8. Whereas on the other hand, here's our mean of 8. And these numbers are very far away from the mean compared to part B. This has 4 and 12 and 10, which is farther away from 8 than 7.5 and 8.5 and 9. So again, just taking a look at that standard deviation, that's what the standard deviation tells you, is how spread out the data values are. So now the median represents the middle number in an entire set of data. So the median essentially cuts the data in half. And then we have a median of the first half of the data set. So if we cut that data in half and we take the middle of that first half of data, that's called the first quartile. And then if we take the second half of data and we cut that in half, the middle of that set of data is called the third quartile. And the median of the entire data set is also referred to as the second quartile, but we'll always refer to it as the median, not the second quartile. So it says using the same data sets from exercise number 2, find the following information. You're going to find the first quartile, the median, and the third quartile. So these are the same sets of data from exercise number 2, so we already know the medians of these. We could just scroll on up and look, and we see that the median of the first data set is 7.5. And we know that the median of the second data set is 8. So we want to go back to our calculator now. And when we go back to our calculator, we're going to input our numbers for part A and B. And if you're joining us for the first time, you might have to enter these numbers in. So we'll enter them in again. So although our values for part B are already in list 1, we're going to enter them in again just in case you're just joining us for the first time. So again, I'm just going to clear everything out. Okay. So if you're looking to get to your lists, you're going to click on the button that says Stat. Once you click on Stat, you're going to click on Enter. Now that you've done that, you have list 1 open and ready to be inputting values. So you're going to input your values of 4, 8, 10, 5, 7, 12, 4, 8, 10, 5, 7, 12, and then 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, and 7. Okay, now that you have your 12 data points there, you want to do your one variable statistics function in the calculator. So you're going to click on Stat again. You're going to go over to where it says Calculate or Calc by clicking the right arrow key, and then click on Enter for one variable statistics, or as it says, one var stats. And when you do that, yes, we put our numbers in list 1. We don't have a frequency list, so we're just going to calculate those values. And here's our mean again, X bar is our mean, and we're going to scroll on down. And now you might notice something that you might not have noticed in the last exercise, but here's Q1, which is our first quartile, and our third quartile here. So our first quartile is going to be 6.5, and our third quartile is going to be 10. 6.5 and our third quartile is going to be 10. Okay, and again, we're going to do that again with set B. So we're going to go back to Stat and Edit. To clear out a list, we're going to go up and highlight list 1. To clear the list, we're going to click Clear, then Enter. And we're going to re-input our data values from part B, 7, 7.5, 7.5. What's next is 6, 8, and 8.5. What's next is 9, 8.5, and 9. And then we have 2 more, 8 and 9. And this time, remember, we only had 11 data points there, so we're on line 12, which is right. We'll go back to Stat, over to Calculate, and we're going to click on Enter for one variable stats. Let's go down to Calculate over here. And when we click on Enter, we're going to scroll on down to look at our quartile values. So first quartile is 7.5, and our third quartile is 9. So 7.5 and 9 for our third quartile. All right. So at this point, if this was helpful to find your first and third quartile using your one variable stats function in your calculator, give this video a thumbs up to let me know that this video was helpful to you. And now you are ready to go on to exercise number 4 in lesson 1, our intro to statistics.